Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another round of Master Phil in your corner with your host, Master Phil.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Greetings from Master Phil and Master Phil in your corner. And here we are in lovely Wyckoff, New Jersey on a 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were just having a discussion. And, we're going to make this Proud Month.
I like it.
Because we're proud to be Americans.
I like it.
We're going to get some shirts say proud and have flags and stars and stripes and guns. And constitutional amendments on it. I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to do that. So let's make the introductions. I'm here as usual with my trusty sidekick, Dougie Fresh Friedman, and a repeat offender here, my brother from another mother, Steve Cirone.
Thank you for having me again.
And we're set for some fun here. You'll notice it's we're wearing a sleeveless thing going on here, because a couple of reasons. One, because it's pretty hot out, and two, because we're going to get down to some street fight and bouncing stories today.
Wow.
Yeah, but before we get into that, let's thank our sponsors.
Yeah.
And first, of course, we have to thank philross.com, because without philross.com, none of this would be possible. Go there for all your fitness and training needs. Martial arts, kettlebells, self-defense, so forth and so on. And, the funny thing is when we get into this podcast, and maybe some of these people will realize that, I've actually done this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, you want to learn from someone who's done it for real and still there to talk about it. And then, we also have, do we have Louie queued yet or not?
Louie again?
Yeah, Louie. So,
oh, my.
So we got Health is a Wealth. That is up and running. We just got a whole bunch of different organizations joining us. P3 is joining. Health is a Wealth. We P3 training. Also check them out for all of your security and training needs. And Megalo social, megalo. Yeah. How low can we go with megalo? Yeah. Well, free speech, it's got to stay. We don't want it to go away. So go and sign up for Megalo Social today. Here we go. Mega hello ho ho ho. So join Megalo Social.
How low can you go?
Mega low.
How mega low can you go?
So join Megalo Social for your free speech platform, competitor with many of the big tech outfits out there. We just have a new Megalo van too, making the tour. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. Now we also have Health is a Wealth. We were talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Ace just joined up with Health. American Council on Exercise joined us, and we got some other ones coming too. Speaking with NASM, and then we also have P3. We have 120 certification courses available, which these courses will actually help people to lower their insurance rates.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're putting that whole thing together. So it's time to get on that free platform. It's great. And then Fit Team, check out Fit Team, to keep healthy, because when you're working out, you want to make sure you're taking in the right nutrients and supplements and keeping at the proper weight. So, there's a guy, Benny the Jet Urquidez, fantastic kickboxer, great karate fighter, so forth. The guy won he's got like 50, 60 wins in the ring kickboxing. And a number of years ago, he, was speaking about his street prowess, and that he had, talked about specific street fights and things like that. And some people in the martial arts community, kind of said, "Oh, you shouldn't talk about that," and whatever. I'll tell you, you know what though? I applaud him for it. It was super interesting to hear him speak to, these incidents that he had and what techniques he used to actually survive the situation and come out victorious. And he had quite a few. He grew up in East LA, and he was in the in the mix there, shall we say? And like most of us, actually, I know both Steve and I got into martial arts because of getting into these street fight situations. Hey, if you're going to get them, you better kind of know what you're doing. So, boxing, wrestling, martial arts all help you in the street. But now, how many people actually used it for real? So we're going to have a little fun today, talk about some bouncing and some street and bar situations that have occurred over the years. So, we may have to water them down a bit. I don't know. Maybe we won't. Who knows what's going to happen? But Steve, Steve, how did you first get into bouncing? And then I'll say my first bouncing job. How'd you first get into it?
Bouncing, I was actually in the Army in Georgia. I was based out of Fort Benning at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big go-go bar, gentleman's club,
Yeah.
the big place, and some people call it strip club, Yeah. So we went in there. It was like the big strip down where soldiers went on weekends or whatever. There's all kind of stuff, there, bars and everything. So I went to one strip club, and I actually met a girl, one of the dancers, but dances back then were different. You couldn't do a lot of things. Just they wore bikinis and stuff, whatever, dancing. So she's beautiful, and so I wound up dating her, call it that, and I wound up being a bouncer there on the weekends. I don't know if I was allowed to do it when I was in the Army, but I did it. But the problem was when I was dating her, it's like, and the stage had like a little gate around it where you couldn't, guys couldn't go, but
they couldn't touch.
They could reach over.
Right.
I remember the first time I'm bouncing, I thought some guy was getting a little too close to her. I grabbed the guy. I threw him. You ever see the high tables with the round tops? I threw him over the table, broke the table off the stand, and the owner came over to me and said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I know you'd be a problem because you shouldn't be dating a girl and bouncing in the same place." I go, "Well, I don't know. I thought he was breaking the rules." So, well, that's how I started. And it turns out that girl, we got involved deeply.
Yes.
And she actually, had a kid with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, the kid didn't make it, whatever. It was a long time ago. That's the 80s, 1981. But that was the girl.
Yeah.
Wow. Denise. That's how it started. Bouncing.
Wow. Yeah. My first foray into the bouncing arena happened when I was at Wilkes College. I was wrestling there. It was 1980, and I lived in this dorm, and I became friends with this guy who was an ex-Navy SEAL, Rob Puchalski, and he used to bounce at this like rodeo place. We had it was in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and they had this fake horse. That was big, the rodeo horse, and you see how long you can stay on it, and so he says, I know we could definitely use a guy like you. So we were training each other, training with each other, in martial arts and fighting and stuff. And he goes, let's go down there. I remember the thing he said, you got to get coach's shoes. Remember the coach's shoes with the this was 1980.
The black ones.
The black ones with the ridges on the bottom. He goes, they're really good when you have to kick somebody. And they have good support.
You don't hurt them.
Yeah, and they have support. Yeah, they're soft on the top. And that was my first bouncing job. Was there, and I mean, I don't know, you weren't that big then, and I was only about 165 pounds.
I weighed 185 when I started bouncing.
Yeah.
I was boxing in the Army.
Yeah.
I had to keep my weight down to 180.
Yeah.
Then when I first come out, when I first started bouncing in New York and I come out of the Army, I weighed 185.
Wow.
I was muscular, but I wasn't didn't look big, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that's what I weighed when I started bouncing.
Yeah, I was wrestling at 158. So, but didn't seem to, affect me at all. And then from there, when I transferred schools, I went down to Maryland, and we went to all the wrestlers used to hang out at this bar called the Grill, or the Varsity Back Room. So I walk in with the gang. You know, a bunch of wrestlers are there, and the owner, the manager says, "Hey, you got big arms. You want a job?" I'm like, "Sure." So then that's where I really cut my teeth, because that place was wild. You know, we would have easily 3 to 4 fights a night, and I'd work 3 to 4 nights a week. It was crazy. It was so bad that my knuckles were so cut up all the time. I put athletic tape on them because I kept breaking them open on people's heads. It was insane, and that's where actually I met Percy like the next couple of nights after that, and then you know, we trained together, and I said, "Hey man, we're looking for bouncers," so I brought him in. And I'll tell you, it was you know, a little bit strange, because it was also like a whole thing. But this was 1980, but still kind of the South. There was like a little prejudice thing going on there, but we got over that with him, because I'm like, "What are you talking about? Who cares?" And then but then they like tried him out, and it was good.
That was the same year I really started, 1980. I was in the Army there.
Yeah.
You talk about 3 or 4 fights a night. I worked at least 32 years as a bouncer.
Yeah.
With 75 clubs, mostly in New York City.
Right.
And I can't remember any night where something didn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
almost always there's
nasty stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
even when me and you bounced together.
Yeah.
At Houlihan at the time.
Yeah.
And,
Still stuff.
Remember the big thing that started there?
Yep,
Me and you
yep.
had to square everything away. 32 people fighting.
Yeah. Something always happens. It's so funny, and just for edification, and you can take this from 2 bouncers, that things get bad after 12 o'clock. That's the witching hour. The a-hole hour, as we call it, because that's when they're all loaded and getting crazy. But so why don't you tell us one of your another memory of this, and we'll
Before I get to that, you talked about the size when we started. People don't understand something. Most people don't. They see a big guy, they think he's a good bouncer.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not always the case. And that's not always the person who could handle and take care of business.
Right.
Okay? So it's what's in you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So guys like me and you, I've been in a situation where the biggest guys are the first ones to not be found when something happens.
Yes.
I've been in a situation many, many times like that.
Mm-hmm.
You had to take care of it. And I became, it's just a fact. And when I talk about my own experience from myself, whatever. In New York alone, when I was bouncing all the time, all the club owners knew me because I made a name for myself as far as being like a diffuser of several thousand situations.
Yeah.
A good diffuser. Look at that.
Really?
Could be important. Anyway, I was a diffuser, and I was really good at what I did.
Yeah.
When I was younger, as a bouncer, you're brawling, but as you get older, you start to say, "Wait a second, how about I try to get paid without really having to do anything? Like, you know what I mean? Not having to." So I became more of a diffuser. And you go to a situation and then try to talk people down, calm them down, the whole thing, and try to work it out that way. You know what I mean? It didn't always work out because people, they're going to be tough guys, and they raise their hand, the whole thing. And as a matter of fact, speaking of that, place called, I don't know if I can mention names of clubs. Can I mention it?
I don't care.
A club called Heartbreak in New York City. It's a big time where like a lot of celebrities went to this place. And Monday night specifically, all the top models came in there. And John Stamos, who became a good friend of mine, he was in there. They all came in, I guess, to see him or whatever. Matter of fact, I was doing dabbling in like soap operas and little acting stuff. And he said, "I'm going to get you on this soap opera that he was on." Didn't happen. I mean, one is a good one. The Mets were playing in I think it was the year of the World Series, '86.
Yeah.
So during that year, the second baseman from the Mets was in there in Heartbreak. Some girl comes to me and says, "Hey, this guy keeps bothering me, touching me, grabbing me and stuff, So I'm like, look over. So, all right. So listen, the girl's complaining about you grabbing her butt, the whole thing. Stop. So it started getting tough with me loud. "You know who I am?" I said, "Yeah, yes, I know who you are. I'm not impressed, but we're all people, and I deal with people as a person. No, I don't want to be disrespectful. My job is to keep the peace here. It kept saying loud, so I had to throw him out in the street. Tim Tuffle. I had to. I got help from it from the other players, but I had to do my job. I had another time at that same place where these guys started a big fight and it was out of hand. And I remember picking a guy up from his elbows like a forklift and throwing him in the street. And him yelling to me, I'm a lawyer. I said, well, you should better start suing me now because, I don't know. But stuff like that all the time.
All the time.
You can't pick who causes trouble and you got to do your job,
Well, you bring up an interesting point about being a diffuser, because one of the lines I used to use on someone is, "Hey, you're a good guy, aren't you?" And even if he's the biggest jerk on the planet, he still thinks he's a good guy. He doesn't realize, what a tool he is.
Yep.
And I said, listen, okay, it's not working out for you here tonight. Maybe we'll come back another night and blah, blah, blah. So I try to diffuse the situation. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. and then, like I had a situation where there's these two brothers, and we're all bouncing out. Percy was bouncing with me when I was down in Maryland, a place called Quincy's. It's no longer there. We had a lot of incidents there too. Oh my God. So these two guys are there, and they're supposedly big karate guys, whatever. And the guy kept taking his shirt off in the bar. It's like you were trying to run a respectable club. I'm like, dude, you can't take your shirt off. Come on, let's chill out. Yeah. 2 seconds later, I turn around, go back to my duties, and he's taking his shirt off again. So one thing leads to another. I come over, talk to him. One of the other guys comes with me, and then his brother comes over. What are you doing? I'm like, your brother's got to go, right? So one of them, as I'm facing the one brother, the other one hits me in the head with a beer bottle. Okay, so that's it. Game on. So all the bouncers piled on. You never hit a bouncer, right? So I had the one guy on the ground. I remember the takedown. I dropped, I hit him behind the ankle and drove my shoulder into his knee. And I crawled up his body and got on top of him. Now the pile comes on. You know how big Percy is, right? Yeah. He's on it. Everyone, like all these guys are on the pile, right? Everyone's hit. And they finally get everyone off the pile. I had this guy in a chokehold and his eyes are rolling and he's purple. And they stopped me because it was over.
Talk about a pile. That one same club, Heartbreak.
Yeah.
About 3 a.m. The phone rings by the front door. It's the manager. Hey, there's a big. We were all standing outside.
Yeah.
By the glass door on the sidewalk. All the bounces. The phone rings. I pick up. Big brawl, big pile going on. So I run in. I was the first guy to get in there. The pile. I just wanted to diffuse it.
Yeah.
I don't want. I just trying to see who's doing the swing. I grab him. I'm holding. I look up a little bit. I see a bottle coming, hit me right above my right eye, and then a foot and kicked me in the same spot, pushed the glass into the top.
Oh,
my eyebrow, and I felt the blood. So at that point, I just saw a pair of legs. I reached up, grabbed the guy by his, jumped up, threw him through the glass door onto the sidewalk in New York, and the other bouncers are standing there. What happened? I told you guys to follow me. Nobody followed me.
Yeah.
Now you take care of that. So you never know. You never know what you're going to deal with.
Nope.
Anytime. There's situations where I remember a famous club where 2 famous people, I'm not mentioning names, they're on the bar snorting cocaine on the bar in front of everybody. So I'm like, no. I walk over and said, and they were very, very famous. So I said, do me a favor. Go in the bathroom.
Don't be an idiot.
I go, come on, man. Some people don't understand that kind of thing. But, people understand. 80s and 90s.
Right.
That's where we made most of our bouncer stuff. I did a lot. I actually bounced up to like 2012, really. Mm-hmm. A little bit of stuff here and there, but mainly. But back then, you know how it was. It was a big party.
Huge.
It was a free-for-all. And that's how it was. And it's like you don't know what you're going to deal with. I mean, in a go-go bar, and the guys lean over the bar trying to do something with the girl.
Yeah.
So I pull him down. So, sir, don't leave over the bar. So now it's getting tough with me. It's a Friday night. The place is packed. It's getting tougher. He pulls out a pocket knife thing. swinging at me. So I'm guiding him toward the front door, and his steps going down outside. As he swung, I ducked under. I suplexed him from the top step head first on the ground. It's just a natural reaction. I really didn't want to, the poor guy started bleeding from the head, the whole thing. Ambulance comes. Actually, I went inside. I called the ambulance because I told his friends, listen, your friend just fell down the stairs. I go, then the whole thing, cops come later on. Now, the friend didn't know what happened. He was inside.
Yeah.
So the cops come and I put a hat on and stuff. He's like doing like a lineup on us. And the guy go, he's the one. I'm like, Sam, I said to my friend, I go, he wasn't even outside. How's he pointing to me? Because I told his friend got hurt.
Yeah.
So he assumed. I had to go through 5 years of being sued for this crap, and whatever. And the guy settled out of court for like $5,000 because he got cirrhosis of the liver. Some stuff happened to him. But
is that from drinking?
The things he made up about, I can't live no more, all the stuff, just people trying to get in trouble. We went to court and the judge didn't understand that. He said, "Oh, you're bigger." The guy's twice my size. The owner of the club spit on the floor. I was like, "What do you mean? Did you read the transcript? He didn't pay attention. He hated the club so much that he was getting carried and made me automatically guilty. He didn't care about who was right and wrong. He didn't bother investigating the whole thing. Like I said, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I so many situations.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's funny because luckily I've avoided court, although I did walk away from actually my last major bouncing job. I walked away from that because of they weren't going to back me up. Now we had a situation. This was, I think, in 2004. I was working. The club's no longer here. It's called Blend in Ridgewood. And do you remember that place?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was supposed to. Originally, I was hired to be their head bouncer, and then I don't know. The manager was this woman. She liked this other guy. Whatever. I don't know. So they put me in another area because they said I was too intimidating. Whatever, you're a bouncer. You're supposed to keep order, right? So, we're on the headsets, and it's a Friday or Saturday night, whatever. Friday night, and they there's a fight, and I'm like, fight, and it's this big guy. Guy's like 6'3". I swear, punching this guy about 5'6", just going bang, bang, hitting him right. Little guy's bleeding all over the place. I come run over. The guy's with two friends. Okay. I grab him, I kick the back of his knee out, and I slap him in a choke. So I got him out in about seconds, and I told his friends, you two guys, you're all going out now. So I drag this guy out, right? Now these other idiots show up. They know there's a fight. There's a little guy bleeding. They start jumping on him. I come back in. I'm like, what are you doing? He's the guy who got beat up. I go, where were you guys when I was calling you? So this other guy, he's a bartender. He goes, he's like, whatever. They had some relation with the manager. He goes, are they out? I go, yeah. He goes, how about his friends? I go, they're gone too. There was 3 of them. And I'm like, I go, let that guy go. They wound up getting another shirt because his shirt was ripped. I go, he's fine. He's not. And then at the end of the night, the woman comes to me and says, do you think that they're going to sue? For what? He asked me to protect the establishment. I didn't do anything egregious. I put him in a chokehold, locked him up, pulled him out, and put him in the street. His friends got him up and they left. Right? Because if you get sued, if there's charges, we can't cover you. I'm like, okay. I collected my money. Next day I call in. I go, listen, take me off the schedule. Like, oh, what are you feeling? Not feeling good? No, take me off the schedule tonight and every other night. I'm done with you guys. I'm not working with someone who's not going to back me up. I'm protecting your establishment, and you're not going to back me up if something happens. I'm done. Goodbye.
That's how it changed over the years.
Yes.
Because one of the things is they made it. I kind of told the guys that are bouncing under me, listen, got to a point. So listen, when a fight happens, the main purpose is to get him out of the club.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't even go outside with him and fight with him no more.
No.
You know, like, because it depends on the situation, of course. But if you go out in the parking lot and you want to stand there and duke it out, it's a different story. The goal is to get him out of the club.
Right.
So once they're out, who cares what they do out there?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, that's what
No.
said because the clubs weren't backing you no more
Right.
legally.
Yeah.
They made you sign like an ABC sheet, all this stuff, all stuff. You know, back then when you have the books, you know, I always get paid.
Oh no, I was getting paid cash.
Yeah, but then they want to make you sign an ABC sheet so you can track what you're making, the whole thing like that.
I didn't do it.
So, talk about crazy things. Club in New York, another wild, big time club.
Mhm.
Had to be like 2,000 people inside all the time. So the way we had it set up, all the bouncers stayed by the front door outside. We had lookout guys inside. If
They say, "Look out!"
something happened, they come get us.
Yeah.
So there's this one group that hung out in the club there. Whatever, Vietnamese guys, they were nice guys. It was their little gang. They hung out in the club. We liked them, get along with them.
Yeah.
But the other group didn't like them. So one night they drove by and started shooting at the club. So I look over, my friend Dave's holding his thigh, got shot in the thigh. I turned and I felt something skin my knee and hit my other leg. Right? But I didn't think much of it at the time. So here's I start skin hutch. I'm on the ground, had a 38 on me.
Yeah.
I'm shooting at the cars. The owner grabs you by the neck. What are you doing? Where'd you get that gun from? I carried a gun and blackjack and mace when I was bouncing over some places. That's how it was.
Yeah.
So it turns out they had to hide me in the wine cellar a couple of hours till everything settled down. I'm looking down. I'm like,
is it good wine to drink? Did you have a few?
I looked down on the back of my left leg. There's like a mark from a bullet there, and it skinned where I turned, skinned my right kneecap, and it went into my lower leg. It was a small bullet, thank God, the whole thing, but it's weird how they shot at the club. You know the ropes they have?
Yeah.
They're all chewed up. But it's like, and you had nowhere to go. You know, another good one is you heard this already because I told you about it when I wrote the piece in your book there.
Yeah.
The surf club was awesome.
That was a great place.
So I was when I had bouncers.
Yeah.
So a fight broke out, big fight. I was the first person to arrive at the fight. So I called the other guys over. Finally get it under control. People going. All of a sudden, I'm making sure the bouncer's backs are safe. Nobody's going to come behind him. As I'm doing that, somebody comes behind me and grabs me in a back choke. Okay. So I set my body where I have to set it so I can breathe. I said, "You better let go." It's like, F you. I'm not like all this tough guy stuff. I'm not letting go. So I'm going to ask you again, let go. Last time. F you. It's all right. So I did my thing, reverse arm bar, took his shoulder out of his socket, took him down, stepped on his face, picked him up, threw him over the railing in front of the cops. I mean, I shouldn't have done that, but it was just, actually, I had him in a finger lock and dragged him out and threw him over. And the owner, whatever. It happened. You know the laws. That's deadly force.
Right.
By law, I got the right to kill him at that point, but I didn't. That's deadly force.
He used deadly force against you.
A small Irish pub. No, I'm not putting. When certain people get drunk, they don't know when to stop. No matter how tough or not tough they are, they just keep fighting. This thing breaks out.
This is the Irish pub?
Yeah, so big thing breaks out. So I'm talking to the guy, and his girlfriend slaps me. So I'm like, all right, Steve, stay calm. You're this woman, you can't hit her, nothing like that. She slaps me again. Right? Third time. It's like, so I'm like, so the guy's like sticking up for her. I put them both in a finger lock separately. I have them both in a finger lock. There's a side door, it's a screen door. I kicked the door down, and it's River Road right there. I put both their faces on the ground. The street said, "See that car coming? I'm gonna hold you he had to run you over. But it's spur of the moment, whatever. At the same place, it was closing time, you know. So I was wearing a satin jacket. We're getting ready to close. All of a sudden, one drunk woman didn't want to leave. I felt something hit me in the back. She threw a dart. It stuck in my jacket, and if I wasn't wearing a jacket, it would have been my spine. So I grabbed the dart. I put the dart by her carotid artery and hold it. The owner's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "She tried to kill me." Don't stab her. I'm not gonna stab her, but you know.
Well,
what, kidding me?
wait. My question is, do you think she got the point?
You know how it happens. You're adrenaline at that point, you know.
We had a situation where I was working at the varsity back room, the grill, and now there was like you had the upper bar. Well, you had the middle bar, the upper bar. The upper area was closed because somebody got thrown off of it and killed. So they closed that area off. And then you had the middle bar, and then you had the pit. Okay. And the pit had a bar in there as well. And there's like the big dance floor. Everyone's like, getting crazy down there. And Percy and I used to sit there and say, okay, there'll be a fight there. There's going to be a fight there. We'd pick out where it was going to happen. So one day, my buddy of mine, he was a good wrestler, big heavyweight guy. He was in the Air Force, and he was in the area, and he was down in the bar with some other guys. And then this guy from another armed force was trying to pick a fight with him. Okay? And, he told me about it. He says, listen, I can take care of this, but, it's your bar. I respect it. I don't want to have a fight in your bar. Right. So I go, no, okay, no problem. So I'll go talk to the guy. So I go talk to the guy, and, he's definitely drunk and feeling his oats and so forth. And then as soon as I go to leave, he goes and tries to knee my friend in the crotch right there. So I just grab him. I go, you're out of here. So I have Percy and I are dragging him up the stairs, right? And down the stairs there's at the bottom of the stair, there's like a low wall. It's like 4 feet high. And we're dragging him up, and some other guy comes from his group. Hey, where are you taking my friend? I'm like, we work here. We're throwing him out. And he goes, the F you are. I go, yeah. He comes charging up the stairs at me. I hit him with a nice stiff jab. Right? He goes flying down the stairs. He hits that the wall. And by the time he snaps back up, I got him in a throat lock. I got over the arm around the throat, and I got him right here, and I'm squeezing his windpipe, and I drag him up the stairs. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. All of a sudden, now his attitude changed. From him kicking my ass, now his attitude changed, right? And I threw him out the door too. This is stuff that people do.
Well, some people just think like could be a situation where somebody is known, say like be a pro athlete. And they think that they're automatically tough because of that. And people that situation in the one go-go bar. Yeah. And
I know this one.
The one I'm not going to mention no names. No. This one. The one guy is actually my friend. He played defensive back. Yeah. Something happened where he said something to a girl, and she yelled at me and said, called her a bad name or whatever it was. So I went to the guy, why do you do that with that girl? I thought you're my friend. So the other guy steps in. You mess with my friend? Don't mess with my friend. I go, stay out of it. He goes, I'm a Samoan. You don't mess with me. And he raises his hand. I go, punch him right in the solar plexus. I said, yeah. I said, I'm a guinea bouncer. Don't mess with me. All right? I go, stay out of it. Like, people just think that tough. It's.
Oh, you'll love this one. This was a hilarious one. So we're bouncing at Quincy's. Again, no longer there, and it was beat the clock night. Okay, think about inspiring people to get drunk and out of control. Okay, so what happens is at 5 o'clock, it's one price, and then every half hour the price goes up for the drink. So what are people going to do?
Yeah,
they're going to slam.
And it starts like at 5 cents,
right?
10 cents,
and they just keep slamming drinks, right? So it's like 10 o'clock. People are actually, it was like 8 or 10 o'clock. I mean, it was pretty early, and people were just looped. Now, there's these 3 big guys in there. One guy's 6'4", another one's 6'5", another one's like 6'3". 3 big guys, right? And they're playing Miss Pac-Man. I know, this is so ridiculous, right? So they wind up getting in an argument with one of the other bouncers about Miss Pac-Man. Okay. So they're getting an argument about something with Miss Pac-Man, how to play. Something this completely idiotic, right? So Kirk, he was like 6'4". So he's getting in a fight with this guy who's like 6'5". So they're having words, and Kirk's like, "Hey, listen, this is my friend's bar. I don't want it to get messed up. So let's go outside. We're gonna have this fight." So I'm standing there, Percy's standing there, and Kirk turns his back on the guy. Hey, if you're a street guy, someone turns your back on you, you're gonna fight him. You're gonna wait till you go outside? No. The 6'5" guy hits him, cracks him, right? But didn't get him 100% because Kirk didn't go down. His body bent and then he popped back up. By the time he did that, I had the guy on the ground. I hit him in the ribs and I reached between his legs. I picked him up and I souplayed him right onto his head. And then I put him in that lock I love, the Python grip, and I had him around the throat with my hand, and I had his arm locked up, and I'm on top of him. And I said to him, I go, "Listen, I'm not going to curse right now." I said, "I'll tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to let you up. I don't want to hear a word from you. You're not going to say anything. You're not going to talk. You're not going to even look at me. You're going to walk right out that door. Because if you don't, I'm going to do this to you again, and I'm going to bite your effing nose off and spit it down your throat." He did exactly what I said. He complied. Now, the funny thing was, like, there was another guy there too. When I had this guy down, I knew someone else was coming, but Percy nailed this guy right into the brick wall. and I saw, as I'm talking to this guy, I saw Percy's feet right here. So I know I could pretty much say anything because I know he took that guy out. So it's me and him against this guy. It's not going to be good for this guy. So, that's why I said what I had to say. He was all pumped up. I still remember him. His legs were pumped with adrenaline and shaking. So grab the guy, get him outside. And then they drove by in a car saying, "We're coming back. We're going to get that little guy." Right? Because I was like way smaller than any of them. And they all started laughing. "Hey, go ahead, see what happens." Right? And then what's this? I had ripped my pants from all the way through, like from my crotch all the way through. Because when I picked them up, my quads, I was all pumped and I slammed them and it just ripped my pants. So I had my pants ripped open.
Remember I was saying about sometimes just big guys, just big and really don't know how to do anything.
Right.
Any experience, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was blessed with great hands, boxing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was street fighter since second grade. So I had to. My crazy brothers, the whole thing. So this big club in New York, I see like 3-4 big bounces. The skinny guy standing like shadow boxing like he's going to hit them.
Yeah.
And they can't grab him and get him out of the club. He was on angel dust.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So we'll go, like, "What are you guys doing?" "Oh, we can't grab this guy. He's throwing his hands." We go, "What?" So I walk in front of the guy. I said, "So you want to dance?" He goes, "Yeah." He starts throwing his edges, like one right hand, knocked him out cold, broke his jaw. It turned to be a problem later on, but still, but I don't stand. Now here's this probably happened to you when a brawl happens and you're trying to break it up. So your old guy either hits you or kicks you. I got kicked in the ribs, but yeah, remember the Club Chicago?
Yeah.
You know who I was bouncing with?
Yeah. I know.
Big brawl breaks out. So all of a sudden, they're all on the ground. So I thought the one guy that started was there, so I went to punt him. There's my own guy. It's me. Sorry. That happens. I know.
It's like friendly fire.
It's dark the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, here's funny. I was down in Bar A seeing a buddy of mine a couple of weeks ago, and it brought up one of the funniest stories down there. I don't think I ever walked out of the place on my own volition. I think it was always a fight coming out of there. It was always a brawl. We call it Brawl A. So
I bounced at Belmar.
Yeah.
Montego Bay.
Monguito Bay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they had some funny stories there, but I wasn't bouncing. But this was like just a funny story, and if they did it in a movie, they'd say it was fake. But at the end of the night, they play New York. So there's like 12 of us guys there. I got a whole crew. My brother's there with his crew. Now his guys are, he's like, I guess, a senior in college, and they're all like football players and wrestlers. And my guys are like wrestlers, martial artist guys, right? And we're doing the can. You know, New York. And one of the guys had a beer bottle in his hand, and I inadvertently kicked it. Okay. This thing flies in the air. We're all watching it. We're watching it. Bang! Nails some dude in the head on the other side of the bar, and he drops. So it was so hilarious. So the three of them come up to our group. Hey, yo, you just hit him in the head with a beer bottle. I'm like, dude, listen, I'm really sorry. That there's no way I could have even wanted to do that or whatever. It was a mistake. So let's do something about it. And I'm like, dude, I just knocked you out from across the bar. You really want to fight me from here? What do you think I'm going to do to you here? And then the other guy goes, one of them says, oh, well, what should we do about it? And one of my friends goes, I don't know. Wear a motorcycle helmet next time you go out.
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
There are some funny things that happen bouncing, and some perks that we can't really talk
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Nothing but the perks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the funny things, it's one big time go-go bar. It's a Friday night. It's 4 bouncers. The place is packed. So right by the front door, the front hallway, we're playing the bouncers. We're playing quarters. People are trying to come in. Like, wait. Another customers that got to come in and pay to come in. We'll tell them to wait. We're playing quarters. My shot. You know what I mean? All crazy stuff. Speaking of when your own guys doing something to you when you're breaking up a fight.
Yeah.
Surf club did this big stage. Fight breaks out. You go over there. It's a mess. So finally, I had a lunge at a guy off the stage. And I wound up on the ground on top of him. And all of a sudden, this other bouncer, probably weighed about 290, dies on top of me. And I got on top of him. I'm like, I don't know if I can breathe that. I'm like, get off me. What's wrong with you? Get off me, man. What's wrong? I got the guy under control already. And then one got promoted guy, I'm not mentioning his name. He dove on a pile too. I go, what are you doing? It's done already. This excited? We had a guy the same surf club.
Yeah.
I had a crew there one year, 1995. All my Hudson County guys,
Yeah.
And in Hudson County, Hoboken, Jersey, all these guys from all these, they're street guys.
Mm-hmm.
So one weekend, these guys from Staten Island who were yelling out how they're gangsters and stuff, starting a big fight. So we took the one guy and threw him over the fence into the dark. He's running down the street, I'm going to get a gun, come back. I said, come back, right? So a day later, the same guys come in, they're sitting, a fight breaks out inside the bar. It turns out outside where there's a gym outside, and the shower area stuff. It's out there, so we were brawling. The guy swings me a duck and take him out. We were in tan shorts, all the bouncers. So
Shorts.
Cops were there. Guys were getting thrown on the street in front of the cops. The ambulance was there, the whole thing. All said and done, the owner calls me and the other head bouncer in the office. Were standing there with blood all over our tan shorts. He goes, what happened? I go, nothing. He goes, nothing. You're full of blood. I go, well, He says to me, I don't want any more Hudson County guys working here bouncing except for you, Steve. I was there before, like for a year before, because he figured they were just wanted to fight all day. But it wasn't really the fact. But they probably had more of a hair trigger than maybe if somebody tried to hit them, they're gonna go faster than maybe somebody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's someone trying to hit you. What do you do? Stand? Not gonna stand there.
Yeah. Talking about that. This is funny, but this is a really kind of a funny story though too. Percy and I got a job bouncing at this club in DC, and now I think it was like 1983. Okay, so this Iranian dude hires us, and we're bouncing first night. It's like kind of we got to be a little more dressed up, so forth, and it's important, but it was more like he said this more like a punk club. Okay, again, like whatever. Okay, and so the night's going okay, and then they start. Everyone's dancing, and what we'd always do is you walk through the crowd, see what's going on, dancing, and then they started. We thought that they were fighting with each other, But that's when mosh pits started opening up, right?
Yeah.
And they're jumping on each other, right?
Ecstasy.
Yeah.
That was a big thing then.
And this is the first time I'm ever seeing it. And what do we have a rule? You never touch a bouncer, right? So bear that in mind. So there's Percy and I going out on the floor. These people are jumping on us, right? We start knocking them out left and right. Just start cracking them, kneeing them, punching them, kicking them, throwing them, right? And the owner comes out, no. I'm like what? He goes, that's mosh dancing. I'm like, what? I didn't know what the hell it was. I'm like, well, no one touches me. Yeah. So after that, we just didn't go on the floor.
I bounced in mosh pits myself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. These kids are crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking about, see, back in the day when I first started like bouncing in New York, a place called the Fun House.
Well,
it was a big famous club. All the rap groups started there.
Yeah.
Before anybody. And I was there, young. I was 20 years old, and I'm protecting all these soon to be famous rappers. LL Cool J was there. Will Smith, he got booed off stage his first time, became the biggest star in the world.
Nobody slapped him off stage?
Yeah, right.
Okay, just wondering.
So, the Run DMC, Fat Boys, all these, and they were all nice people. And they made all big time. You know, Madonna was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was, Jelly Bean Benitez was the DJ.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was a boyfriend.
That was a boyfriend. Yeah.
And Stallone knew the people very well. I think they helped him get his career started and stuff. So I was actually protecting all these people back then.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember the group called the Fat Boys.
Yeah.
They were just starting out. They had the station wagon with a stick shift. So I had this 4-wheel drive truck with a push bar in New York. So I parked on the sidewalk. That club went all night long till 9 a.m.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So they couldn't get their car started. They parked in front of me. I said, listen, put it in second gear or third gear, step on the clutch. I'll push it down the hill and then pop the clutch and it's just start.
Yeah.
And these guys are big.
Yeah, I know. I bodyguarded for them once. Yeah.
I had to put my truck in forward drive to push the car. No, they were cool. But
yeah, they were cool kids.
On 26th Street
in
New York, and the car started like, You know, it's funny, you know.
Yeah, they were cool guys.
Yeah, they were all nice. Like, Cool J was the nicest guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
So he was performing there. There's already
you were performing. You were there.
Yeah, I was there.
There was 2,000 people in the club already.
Yeah.
And 2,000 in the street wanting to get in the club.
Yeah.
So they had the street road blocked off. So me and this huge bouncer, this guy Mark, like 6'5", 300 pounds. We had to walk next to the limo through the crowd to get him in. As we're doing that, somebody cracked a bottle and cut Mark in his neck right next to me.
Wow. I'm
like, what do I do? So soon we got the Dougie Fresh and I grabbed him, pulled him aside, ambushed the whole thing, and then people started breaking. We had the doors chained from the inside. People started breaking the chains, coming in the back doors. I had no choice. I'm standing on my blackjack, cracking people because we had a metal detector, and they were going around the metal detector. But that was one of those crazy times. It's like a riot. And you've been. That's how.
Oh yeah.
How was the thing me and you with the that you got me involved in? He called me. I got this nice protection job for us. You know, it's
Well, let me throw this out there. First of all, I had done a lot of jobs for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he hooked me up with a job at Taste, which was really good. And he's like, Phil, I could use you at this party. He explained it to me. It was at the Princess Chateau, okay, which is now closed because of this incident. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. We're talking about this thing. This got pretty.
How many years ago is that now?
2004.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So we can talk about it. So the statute of limitations is definitely up. Yeah.
Yeah. So he calls me. As I get this classy party, we're going to be security for. Get dressed up. I'm the only guy dressed up. He's wearing jeans. The other guy,
I'm black jeans.
And the other bouncers, I knew one of them. They ran the club in Jersey City, but they were there. But I only knew him and the one guy a little bit,
Yeah.
So all of a sudden they're rolling in. It's like 600 people. Turns out it's two rival gangs.
Yeah.
And then the rap users going the whole thing. All of a sudden, fight starts. Before that, some girl standing with us with a champagne bottle tried to hit him. He knocked it out of her hand. Something that she's on the ground. I kicked it.
No, there was a guy who tried to hit me with a bottle.
Or the girl threw the beer on us.
Yes, yeah.
So she fell and I punched.
That's a guy punched in
I
the
thought it was
face.
a guy and I kicked her in the ribs.
Yeah.
So the fight breaks out. Me and him are the only two idiots on the dance floor between two rival gangs, 300 and 300, trying to stop this fight, me and him. Also, the chair comes flying.
Right
Hits a girl in the eye, the leg of the chair, right next to us.
Yeah.
The other bouncers nowhere to be found. It's me and him now. So I'm like, Phil, all right, May's time. We're not going to stop this here.
Yeah.
So it got to the point, stuff flying. And we just started getting people outside. The cops.
Well, actually, first we fought our way back to the kitchen, just watched
You
them.
had to, yeah.
Yeah, we fought our way back to the kitchen. Another guy, Blandino, came up on the side too. So there's the three of us, and we're just watching the melee. I mean, like mirrors were getting broken.
It's so bad the DJ was calling for help. Yelling.
He was yelling for help. Yeah. Honestly, I thought we were gonna like die that night. But the funny thing is that in that melee, when people were punching and everything, I don't know how many guys I cracked one guy in the face.
Oh, yeah,
well. But we didn't get hit. We did not get hit. We were just moving, slipping, and we fought our ways back to the kitchen. We're sitting there watching this whole thing, and then the only reason that the place emptied was because some girl said, "Gun! Somebody's got a gun!"
Yeah.
And then they started running for the door. And now, because cops won't come in. Now, this is such a huge riot. There were cops from 15 towns here.
Yep.
Yeah. It was on the news and everything.
They closed
Route 46.
Closed it. Just they didn't want to bother nobody. Just wanted to get them out of there, back to that town. So they direct them out. Meanwhile, people from cowards had to throw stuff from 100 yards away onto the cop cars, rocks and bottles and stuff there. And what was the owner doing? Remember?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
No big deal.
Idiot. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, well, they got shut down right after that because the moron. We had wands and stuff at the door, but there he is selling them champagne bottles. I mean, it's a weapon, pal.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just got crazy.
I appreciate that one.
Yeah,
fighting dress clothes. But no, there's many places. I mean, in the years I had to wear a suit bouncer.
Yeah, so have I.
The Copacabana.
Yep.
I wear a suit,
and sometimes it gets rough there. I bounce there too.
Jeff and Frank. No last names. He's bouncing me there. I know Jeff and Frank.
Yeah,
and John
with one of them.
The head bouncer. One night I'm sitting in the bathroom. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Goodfellas when they go through the Copacabana through the kitchen. If some people really got out of hand and we had to drag them through that kitchen.
Yeah.
Not the back door. So the doors that go to that kitchen, I just sit once in a while with the head bouncer. One night I heard a gunshot. So I turned to John and go, "You hear that?" He's sitting there white as a ghost. He goes, "The bullet ricocheted, went through the lapel of his jacket without hitting him." So he's like in shock, kind of. I was like,
isn't that what's inspired the song from Barry Manilow? Who shot who at the Copa?
One night we were in there, and these guys thought they were gangsters, they were tough guys, so they were challenging me and Jeff and Frank. And so we'll wait for you. Here, 3 idiots, me and Jeff and Frank, on 6th Street, suit pants on, no shirt on, bodybuilding, standing waiting for these guys to come.
They never came.
But that's how you worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It was funny. That reminds me of another one we had because now the bar that we bounced at, Quincy's, prior to that, it was a biker bar called Jimmy Comer's. So what happens when bikers get drunk? They go back to where they know, right? They go, bar cruise and so forth. So, but we had a dress code, and we'd have to turn them away. I mean, one night I had at least, this is no exaggeration, at least 45 confrontations at the door. Not all of them were physical, but at least 45 confrontations at the door. But this one night we wind up having a huge brawl at the place. I threw a guy, the windows out front, the big window next to us, the glass doors. I threw a guy through that. Okay? And The cops were there. It was so bad. The cops were handing us billy clubs to fight. Yeah. They just throw here, take this one, because it was a massive brawl in the parking lot. It spilled out. Okay. So it was so bad that we had to mop up the blood in the hallway. But it's funny, I kind of messed up because prior to that, there was this group of guys that came in that wanted to come in. And I said, you're not dressed appropriately. We have a dress code, blah, 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 blah. He goes, well, if we come back, dressed properly, will you let us in? I'm like, yeah, sure. Right. Now, this big brawl occurs. So now we shut the place down. I mean, obviously we're putting a board up in the window. There's blood in the hallway. We're mopping it up. And these guys come back. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, after the fight stopped. We closed the bar. We're not doing it. He goes, I'm like, because yeah, can we come in now? I'm like, the bar's closed. And he's like, you promised. I'm like, dude, I go, we just had a huge brawl here. Can you not see? Can't you see what's happening here? He goes, no, you lied. I go, the bar's closed. He goes, we're going to wait for you till you leave. I'm like, okay, fine.
That always happens.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sitting there. The doors are locked. I'm having a few pops. Those guys are waiting out there. I'm making them wait. We're hanging out. I'm like, other guys are like, you want me to go with you? I'm like, nah, just keep an eye, right? So I go out there, and there's three of them. And I had my Firebird and my Formula Black, and they're standing by it. And I'm like, I'm going to my car. And, we had some words. And I go, get out of my way. He said 2 words to me. They weren't Merry Christmas. I said the same thing back. I kicked him in the chest with a side kick that sent him over the top of my car. And then I go to the other two. You want to go? Oh! I go, pick up your girlfriend and get out of here.
Let me just say something before we go any further. I don't want anybody getting the wrong idea about thinking that me and you are looking for an excuse to hit somebody. Because I can speak for you. I know that there's only no way out, self-defense type stuff. Like we talk about throwing through somebody through a glass door, cracking or breaking a jaw. We didn't look to do that.
No. We
look to diffuse it, and then it goes to that level.
Right.
It escalates to that, and they have no choice. But I don't want people thinking that we're just looking to hit people.
Right. Right. Good point. Good point.
Some people do that.
Some people do. Yeah.
Inexperienced people, who they never had a lot of fights in their life, might look to do that to feel like a hero.
Right.
But we didn't.
No.
We had plenty of fights in our life,
and
there's always self-defense and had no choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can unequivocally state that I never started any of this stuff and always tried to stop it prior to it happening. But when people are being unreasonable and you have no choice, you have to be able to do something. You have to defend yourself. Like if you listen to any of these stories, it usually, I know we did kind of, cut to the chase, obviously, because you can't sit there and just say every, exchange and so forth. First of all, like my memory's not that good. A lot of these happened a long time ago. We're talking like 3, 4, at least 2 decades ago, and more like 3 and 4 that they occurred. And, you don't want to bore people with, oh, well, first I went up here and it said this, he did, whatever, you can't get too boring with it. But, we did kind of cut to the chase. But if you notice that we never, ever started any of this stuff,
So being I said that already, I'll tell you something. It's kind of funny situation. It's St. Patty's Day in the Irish place. So I hired, the guys, some black belts, friends of mine, all of them.
Yeah.
So the owner's like, oh, these guys, some of these guys ain't that big. I said, don't worry about it. I know I'm doing. Okay. Sure enough, crazy fight breaks out. Everybody's drunk. Beer mugs flying off the wall, breaking. So these guys that starting to be in trouble. I'm getting them out, and the one guy bouncer says, hey, that guy just smacked me. I go, hold on, just take a deep breath. Smacked him again. I said, go. Smacked it again, go. That's it. So it broke out. Get these guys out the front door. And the front door is a big, heavy wooden door. I had to weigh hundreds of, those kind of doors that weigh hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
So I'm getting him out. He's sticking his arm on the door. He don't want to leave. I understand you're drunk, but come on, man. You're going to get a beating. I don't want to give you a beat. Get out of here. F you, him and his son. So he kept sticking his arm. I said, all right. So I took the door. So I'm slamming the door on his arm now.
Oh.
So let's go. Finally let go. I went outside. I slammed his head into a signpost. He got out cold. It's drizzling rain. A couple minutes later, he wakes up. He wants to fight again. I'm like, come on. Really? It's not funny now. But it was funny.
I think it's funny.
You still want to fight, really? I said, you're going to want to be in the hospital, but you don't understand when to quit. The alcohol's getting the best of you. No, come on, really. That place was too much.
That door story brought up an old memory. This is I tell you, it was 1984. I know because I just got finished with one of those survival camps, and I won the obstacle course at the end and all. It was pretty cool. And I'm with my girlfriend at the time, and then my sister and another friend, and we're walking through the city. We just went to dinner in Little Italy, and there's this, they have those brownstones, whatever, with those big heavy wooden doors.
Yeah.
That's what reminded me of the situation. And there was this young Spanish girl trying to get into there. She's got her little child in the carriage, and somebody was in there grabbing her, and she's screaming for help. He was like harassing her terribly, so I come running up the steps, and I grab the door, open it to help her, right? And I go, leave her alone, right? So he comes at me. I take the door, bang, right into his head. Grab him, throw him down the steps. And I go, okay, you're okay now. She was thanking me all over the place.
See, now I didn't want to bring this up, story about a door into somebody's head. So, and I'm not mentioning the name of the go-go bar, of course. So it was a go-go bar. And I'm not telling you who's bouncing me, you know.
Because I know.
So these guys were out of hand, drunk, the whole thing. We threw them out. They kept coming back up the stairs from outside, harassing us, banging on the door, the whole thing. So the whole diamond glass window. I had enough. So I timed it. I looked out the glass window. I timed it when the guy up the stairs, I was going to open the door and knock him off the stairs. So I opened the door, and the door lock thing, the circle thing, right on his forehead.
Oh.
Flying to the side, laying there. I thought he was dead. So I said to my friend, come on, there's drizzling out. I said, let's sit up against the wall back there, against that building in the grass. He's sitting there, out cold. Like, I hope you're not dead, really. 2 hours later, this outside security guard calls us. Says, some guy walking up the parking lot swinging at the air. Who hit me? Right? The same guy. So all of a sudden, his buddies acted up, and my friend took that guy's head, bounced his head out the railing, bink. And the guy that was looking for me went to the wrong building, because the building on the other corner looked exactly the same. The door, he's knocking on that door. And we're laughing. He's knocking at the wrong door. I'm like, wow. So you're talking about some little fun things, like one club in New York. Like, and we were outside. There's a line down a block to get in. And this is early 80s, in my 20s.
Yeah.
And mostly women.
Of course.
I used to walk out of there with 25 phone numbers a night. In the 80s, you know how it was. It's just fun at that point. That was the fun part to me, you know.
Oh yeah, and we had ladies' night. Be lines around the corner, and you're up there bouncing. Like, oh, the door reminds me, I got another door one. So I'm bouncing one night at the grill back room, and this guy was always obnoxious, drunken jerk, and finally it was my chance to throw him out. And he started with me, got real personal, took a swing, got behind him, and I grabbed him. You know, the old, the thing you see on the old Bugs Bunny movies, and the bouncer throws the guy out by the belt and by the collar. Yeah. I ran him into the door, one of the big door, and I opened the door with his head, and I threw him. Now, I didn't mean to throw him this far. I was scared for a second, because I threw him into the street, and there was traffic. car squealed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, oh, I thought I was going to kill this guy. I didn't even mean to do it though. That was the thing. I just threw him so hard. He opened the door, stumbling, bumbling across the sidewalk and flew right into the street. Almost got clipped.
Speaking of movie type stuff, my friend owned a big club down in Point Pleasant. So we used to go once in a while, check on the place. And he found out that one of the bartenders was stealing money.
Oh, jeez.
He goes, come on, take a ride with me. So it was a Saturday afternoon. I grabbed the guy in the office. So I said, are you taking money? No. You sure? I'm not taking nothing. You sure? So I put him in a finger lock to his knees. Sure you're not taking nothing? Only a little bit. Right? So I stood him up. I took him out of the office. Front door's there. I said, everybody watch this. This is what happens when you steal money from the club owner. Like in the movies, I front kicked him through the doors. It felt good, but still, the guy's stealing money, and talking about rolling somebody with a car. I'm working with this guy. This guy's played for the Washington Redskins. He's bouncing with me. Yeah. Big dude. He probably weighed about 400 pounds at this point. So
in shape.
But he's strong.
Oh, yeah, still strong.
So we're ox. The fight went about side. We're really not supposed to go, but that's where it wound up. And I saw this big dude pick this guy up like he's a basketball. I mean, over the roof of the car. And the guy had to weigh 240 pounds. He picked up threw him like nothing. I couldn't believe. I'm like, wow.
You know what, that reminds
that's adrenaline.
Yeah, that reminds me of another one now. It's a buddy of mine used to bounce with me. People might know him from some of the movies. He's Heartbreak Ridge, the Swede. Yeah. So we're bouncing one night, and he's like 6'5", maybe like 280, ripped to the bone. He's still in phenomenal shape. Just had a hip surgery though. So we go to throw this guy out, and this guy gets into Pete's face. This guy's name's Pete Koch. This guy was like 6'2", 6'3". Pete picked him up. I swear, didn't even bend his arms. Didn't bend his arms and threw him over like 3 tables into the wall. And he ran at him. I grabbed him by the arm. I'm like, no, Pete, no. He was going to kill him. I didn't want to let him hit him. Like, you know what? Why don't you go home tonight?
I remember watching a movie. I was sitting down with the girl dating at the time, years back, and I'm looking at a movie. I'm like, that guy, the lead guy, looked very familiar. Yeah. Very familiar to me. So next day, Howard Stern's talking about, he has a guest on talking to him. He goes, yeah, when I was a bouncer at 10:18, I go, holy crap. He was a bouncer with me at 10:18, which was Rocky before that. Turned to 10:18. We were bouncing together. It was Vin Diesel. He was a bouncer with me before he became big star. He had longer hair. We call him Vinny. I mean, whatever. Vin Diesel, and like, it was crazy. I know they're familiar, but sometimes hard to put.
What's his real name? His last name's really Diesel?
No, I forgot his real name. I forgot his real last name. Remember his,
yeah, I forget his last name.
I talked about it with someone not too long ago about that. Yeah. Diesel.
Yeah, right. So it's
very
funny.
Expensive now.
Yeah. So another Pete Koch story. So it was we're driving out to do a bouncing job. We used to work for these guys called the Gilardi Brothers, and so it was me, Percy, Pete Koch, and this guy Harry Venenzia, and we used to call him the Chief. You remember the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah.
Well, he looked like the Chief. So Pete and Harry are big dudes. Okay. So we're in my Firebird, jammed in there, had the air shocks, so they were fully pumped up because these big dudes are in the back. Right. So we're driving and we're in going to Waldorf, Maryland. And there was these 3 dirt bags and they cut us off. It's some kind of hot rodish thing, whatever. So I blew the horn. They flipped me off. I flipped them off. They came up. I came up. They said some words. Said, all right, pull over. So they said, oh, let's go. Let's pull over. So I'm like, all right. So I pull over. So 3 of them get out of their car. I hop out. I'm like 200, whatever at the time. Like, whatever. Yeah. Percy gets out. It's like, oh, yeah, pretty big dude, right? And then Pete and Harry get out. these two towers, monsters. You never saw three guys get into a car quicker than them and take off. It was like the best non-fight fight ever.
And I attribute a lot of my, I guess, natural street fighting ability and toughness to you got to be, first of all, you got to be born with it. I was trying to say, you know, you have it in you. You got to be born. So my brothers, my two older brothers and my younger brother were all very tough, and my younger brother always tried to keep up with us. So he went too far sometimes.
Yeah.
So my father ran, it was like the Elks Club, but there was a bar club type thing. He ran it.
Yeah.
So my younger brother was 17 at the time. He was the bouncer, 17, by himself. So at the time I'm bouncing at the go-go bar. We had beepers then. It was a Friday night. My beeper went off. I said, I got to go. Something happened when my kid brother had to beat the crap out of like 6 guys. He's tough.
Yeah.
You know my kid.
Yeah, I know.
He's tough.
Yeah.
He's tough, okay? So, and you don't feel anything. I left there. I zipped down there. My other brother, who's in a certain big biker club, no names, okay, shows up too with his registered Uzi. So here we are in front of the place, all the cops everywhere. My kid brother just beat the crap out of these 6 guys. I'm standing, my brother got the Uzi, and the cop goes to my brother, hey, okay, put the Uzi away. So I go, okay. So I stand there. I said, okay, all you tough guys tried to gang up on my younger brother. He beat the shit out of all yous. Now there's about 100 of yous. Said, the Cirone boys are here. Come on, bring it on, all 100. And the cop's like, what are you doing? You're going to start a riot. I'm like, we're going to stay here and fight. I don't really care. That's just how it was, it is, and that's, you've been there.
Oh,
But hey, you know what? Sometimes it might be stupid, but I'm not going to take a step back for nothing, ever.
It reminds me, like you're talking about your little brother. You know, I remember my brother's first weekend in college. So I'm 23, and I'm going to go hang out with my brother and make sure he's okay. His first weekend in college, right? So yeah, I'm dressed nice. Got like I'm going to college. Got the polo shirt on, the whole thing, right? So we go out. We're up in the hill. We're at Lehigh, and we're with we wind up walking around with there's like 3 or 4 guys and mostly girls, and we're walking around going party to party. But I got my brother, this other kid, and this other kid who's a tough kid, big kid, played ball there, and he's from East Rutherford. So the 4 of us guys and the rest are girls, and we're walking through, and now there's a group of guys that come through. I think they might have been townies, I don't know, but they were bigger, obviously than us at the time, and come through, and they start pushing us guys, right? And my brother here, he goes, really, So then turn around. Next thing you know, we're squared off, and I go, listen, guys, we're all here for a good time. I have to emphasize this. I go, guys, we're here for a good time. Come on, let's go. I'll buy you a beer, whatever. And the guy's like, F you, you're a bunch of pussies. Game on. Okay, so one guy goes for my brother. He's not tall. He's shorter than I am, and but he knows how to fight, and he's a really good wrestler. So goes for him first. I crack this guy hard, okay, with a cross. And as he's falling back, I front kick him. I pick him up and I toss him on the ground. Now, my brother hip toss another guy, and another one of the guys comes. I take him out and I get him on the ground. And I have him in a fish hook. You know what a fish hook is, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got him in a fish hook. My fingers in here, and my forearm is on his throat. I'm pulling his face one way, and I'm driving my forearm into his throat the other way. The only thing that saved him was that my brother and the other guys backed off when they saw what was happening. I took out 2. My brother took out 1. The other guy, and they backed off. And my brother stopped me. He goes, "Phil, you're gonna kill him." and that's the only thing that stopped me. But See, we tried to avoid it. I tried to be nice, and these guys did not want to take no for an answer. They were looking for a fight.
Yeah.
We were looking for fun.
Well, your brother, I know. I worked with your brother
Yeah.
a few times. I remember us bodyguarding
Yeah.
on the Yankee ticket parade on the platform. And we were locked. We couldn't leave the platform for 14 hours. I had to go to the bathroom so bad. I'm like, Damien, listen, bro. Listen, I'm gonna have to stick my leg up the edge and go down my leg. I'm like, I had to hold it in. But we were Giuliani and
Oh, I know.
Tommy John, all these famous people.
Yeah.
Was Aniscato all there on the platform with us, but we had to deal with a few situations. And we took care.
Oh,
You couldn't leave the park.
no.
14 hours.
Yeah, I know. I was on the outside. Yeah.
So speaking of, we were talking before about, when you talk people calm
Mm-hmm.
about the surf club. There's one guy who wanted to fight all day, fight everybody. So I kind of had to babysit him all day. I said, listen, bro, I know you're tough. Everybody loves you. Everybody thinks you're tough. And I just, you don't want to do this. Stay calm. But all the other one had to do is the same guy.
Oh.
Eventually I had to throw him out.
Yeah, no, it's going to
So
happen.
another situation, surf club, talking about like different things. Closing time. So like, the head bouncer. Well, I made this guy a head bouncer after I want to do it no more. So he wanted me to work there. So closing time. There's one guy's on the back porch, sitting in a chair, sleeping. So all the bouncers, we can't get him out. We can't get him out. We can't get him. Can't wake him up. Can't get him out. So I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
So I went back there. And you go into the infraorbital nerve.
Yeah.
Went down, stood him up. He jumped out of the chair. And all the guys like, what do you do? How did you do that? I thought it was pretty funny. I said, he's out now.
There you go. So we could probably go on for several hours like this.
We
But
might need another second segment. 'Cause
We
you know what?
might.
We both have thousands of things that happen in real life that we can talk about. And some of them pretty funny too.
Yeah.
It's like a dance off with words.
To us, they're funny.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe not to the other guys. I don't know.
It's what happens.
Hey.
Talk about what happened. You talk about what happened. That's what happened.
Exactly.
What do you do?
Hey, well, everyone, thank you for listening in today. I hope you enjoyed. This a little bit different than some of the other things we do, but I figured we had a little bit of fun here. Enter the 4th of July weekend with a bang. Knockout. So,
Absolutely.
guys, enjoy and remember, this is a proud month.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for watching another episode of Master Phil in your corner.
Strength and honor.